Hi, I'm Alison Warner, founder of Evolve and Grow and author of Build and Grow. Welcome to the Evolve and Grow podcast show, where I share lots of useful tips and advice to tradespeople who are looking to move off the tools and grow a really successful business. I'm delighted to be joined on the show today by Adrienne Minster, CEO of Rated People. Over the course of her career, she has successfully built and scaled businesses in a wide variety of settings, ranging from startups to large corporates. Rated People, if you don't already know, is the UK's leading online marketplace for homeowners to find skilled local tradespeople. More than 9 million jobs have been posted to date, and over 50,000 tradespeople are able to use the platform to find new work opportunities. During her tenure, Adrienne has taken the company to profitability, and the business has recently been recognised as one of the Sunday Times 100 best companies to work for in the UK. So welcome, Adrienne. It's fantastic to have you on the show.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Would you like to start just by telling us a little bit about your background and how you came to join Rated People?
Sure. So I'm really lucky, you've alluded to a little bit in your introduction, that I've had a really broad career so far. So I've been able to see and scale businesses or even non-for-profit organizations in a lot of different settings. But what I'm always looking for with any role I take or company I work with is that, I'm passionate about the business and what they're trying to do in terms of impact in the world. And that I myself feel that my skills can make a real contribution to the organization. So just to give you a bit of more detail on what I've done before. So before I was at Rated People, I was a global head of online for a business that helps small and medium businesses get access to digital marketing products in helping small and medium businesses grow. And before that, I did strategy consulting for some of the biggest companies in the world, names we all would know. And then I started my career doing HIV/AIDS treatment in South Africa. So that was really rolling out treatment alongside the government's programs, using a disease management platform. So it was actually a tech company, but we didn't realize it, but partnering with local organizations to really help them kind of find models that work to get as many patients access to medicine as fast as we could. So that's, anyway, how I came to Rated People. I've been at Rated People since 2015, took on the CEO role a few weeks before the pandemic started last year. Tying it all together, I love being a part of Rated People because we get to help trades businesses, small business owners for the large part, figure out how to make their businesses successful. I grew up in a family where my dad and my grandfather owned a boiler reselling company in Chicago. So, I spent my childhood sorting pipe label markers. Trades businesses, there's a real pride and that sort of work. All of my family are small business owners of some nature. So I feel really close to this mission of helping, small and medium businesses and particularly trades businesses take pride in the work and maximize the value of their organization.
Fantastic. A really varied background there, but really quite different. Yeah. And so could you just give listeners an overview of Rated People and how it's different perhaps to other directories and other lead generation sites that are out there?
Sure. So we're an online marketplace where we connect homeowners looking to find skilled tradespeople to get a job done in their area. That could be everything from a leaky tap to an extension or a bathroom refit. The job values kind of range from the low end, £250 a job, up until, we've had some jobs posted for multiple hundreds of thousands of pounds, but more realistically, it's like 20, 30 grand kind of jobs that come onto the platform quite frequently. We cover all sorts of trades. So we've got 30 different trades, but that really covers 200 different trade types. And I think what's different is that we are really about lead generation. So trades businesses are, if they join our platform, they can select the work area that they want to work in, the exact type of work that they want, and then they get a lead list that's populated with exactly that work. And then they're really in control of how much work they want to go after. So they're not really having to sit around and just wait for the phone to ring. So for ambitious companies that are really looking to grow, really the sky's the limit on a platform like ours, as opposed to not really being able to bump your ranking very quickly to get more calls in. But also, what's also nice is that, we have some customers that are cutting investment from Google over to us because they don't want to pay for clicks. They'd rather go after exactly the job that they want. And then our customers will know, how likely they are to win that job or not. So they've got a pretty good sense of the return that they're going to make off of every job that they choose to go after on the site.
Okay, cool. Excellent. And so what's the long-term vision and goals for the company? And how has this helped keep the team focused during the pandemic? Because that must have been quite a challenging time to take over the company just before lockdown.
Yeah, no, I mean, I felt very fortunate really to be in a position to, really help during the pandemic. And I think, for us, that was really about, I think making sure that our trades businesses were looked after, but then also helping homeowners get very important work done. And I think we can get more into that later. But for now, the long-term vision, just to come back to the question, is really about being the best partner we can to trades businesses, particularly for your audience. And on the homeowner side, it's helping them get the important jobs done in their home done at, the right quality and quickly and easily get that work done. But if we think about the trades businesses, we really are looking to be a long-term partner for their business. So today we do largely lead generation. We've introduced directory products. So for customers who want to get calls on top of the leads that they're already coming in to check, they're now able to do that. We have a light workflow management, which helps them take leads from new to one to done to just sometimes the admin piece of things is hard to remember what you've quoted on, what you haven't quoted on, what you won. We have an invoicing platform, but if you think about the long-term vision, it's really going to extend further into that supporting trades businesses in those areas that are more of, how do I run my business most effectively? And I think, our goal really is to keep tradespeople focused on the things that they do uniquely well, which is their craft, or teaching other people to do their craft, training up teams to do the job, doing the customer service aspect to make sure the homeowner is happy with the job that's been done. All of that stuff, our tradespeople are the experts in, and that's great. We want them to do that. But what we're experts in is PPC and Google AdWords, and they don't need to be experts in AdWords to be a great carpenter or the best builder in town. We can do that part of it for them. So we want to, as much as possible, empower them to get, to do what they do best, which is their trade, and to run a great business.
And what sort of, I mean, I don't know how close you get to your customers' businesses, but what sort of common challenges do you see in the industry that's perhaps different to other industries that you've worked in before?
Yeah, and it's interesting because the trade sector is, we're a marketplace business, so we're constantly balancing consumer interest and trades capacity, and that's normal for us. But I think in the trade sector in particular, the biggest challenge is just having enough tradespeople and trades businesses. And so I think for us, it's really about thinking about how do we help them support scaling and really get them to have the confidence that they have to hire the next person. Or, I'll just tell you a story of one of our businesses, who's a little bit of a larger customer, but he was a franchise owner in the North, and he runs a plumbing and drainage business. And he was thinking, okay, well, I've got a very successful company here. And now what I'm finding is when I'm in the homes of my customers, whilst I'm in there doing this plumbing job, actually we notice that they might want a tiling job done as well. can I add tiling as the next thing? And, can I bring in this guy part-time to pick up some of the tiling work that I'm seeing? And then kind of little by little, get the confidence to build up a whole tiling team. And so with our platform, he could see exactly how much demand there was for tiling work. He knew what his win rate was on the jobs that were out there. It then gave him the confidence to go out and make that a full-time role and then ultimately a team. He actually then was looking at buying another franchise location in a neighboring area and was able to actually just shift his work area from his normal patch to what that other franchise's patch was, and actually was able to see, okay, well, actually, here's how much work is out there. Again, I know my win rate. I know what I can make. So great, I'm actually going to go get that business. But it goes from really small things to really big things, like do I take on this new franchise in addition to the one that I've got now? But with that example is relevant at all sizes of companies.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. I mean, that's something that we encounter all of the time. There seems to be two challenges that we see. One is the financial and the systems and the organization and kind of making that switch from being on the tools to running a business. But the other is absolutely around recruitment. And there's a real opportunity, I think, in this country to do something. That's something I'm passionate about, is to maybe get into schools and show what a career you can have. Beyond learning your trade, you can take it much further and have a very, very lucrative, successful business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, it takes me on to, we care very passionately about that as well. And I feel like there's, young people in this country. It's a little bit different. I come from the US originally. You can't tell from my accent. I've been here 10 years now, but I'm dual citizen now. So, that's nice to have both. But, in this country, there's a real opportunity to educate young people when they're having to make choices about which path that they want to go on. And there's a lot of perceptions, let's say, about certain paths versus other paths. And I really feel like, there's no reason for that. There are fantastic trades businesses. It's a lovely career to have. You can be a very successful business owner with a very profitable company doing trades businesses. It should be a career that many young people in this country consider, particularly looking at how much demand there is out there for quality tradespeople. So if you can come in and you can do a good job, you can run a great business, and that can be a business that you just run for yourself, for your family, reliably putting food on the table with a small team, or it can scale right up to some of the biggest companies that we've seen that are now listing on the stock markets here.
Absolutely.
The sky's the limit.
Absolutely.
In trade services.
That's right. And there'll never be a shortage of demand from what I can see. I mean, I know there's a lot happening in the space of technology and AI and all of this, but at the end of the day, we'll always need electricians, I'm sure, and plumbers and heating engineers and builders to some degree, without a doubt. So it's absolutely is singing from the same hymn sheet that we do. Definitely. So what has the company done differently during the pandemic to help their trades best adapt during this time?
Sure. Gosh, it's been so unpredictable. And, almost in the early days, we were almost on like a wartime footing as an organization. So, all of us will remember sitting and waiting for the government announcements that came at, I think it was 5 p.m. or 5:30 every single day. We'd then sort of have a debrief right after that, determine what we wanted to then change for the next day, what communications needed to come out. We were literally doing 24-hour cycles to ensure that we were getting all the right information out to our customers, because, we felt that, we had a bit of an obligation and responsibility to our customers who, I don't expect all our, 50,000 trades businesses to be sitting and listening to the prime minister or whoever's out there every day thinking, gosh, now what does this mean for me? Because, some days there was no relevant information and some days there was a lot of very important information. And so we were really trying to get that information out as fast as we could to both our trades customers, and our homeowners, to make sure that they knew what they could do, how they could do it safely, what resources were being made available to them at various points in terms of grants or loans or whatever it was. But it was mostly about kind of making sure that we empowering one another as a value of our company. You'll hear me speak on our values language quite a lot, but we wanted to really make sure that our homeowners and our trades businesses were empowered to know what they could and couldn't do, and then apply their own judgment about, what they felt comfortable doing or not doing. But we were sort of allowing them to know what was possible or not possible, which I think was very important, in particularly the early stages. But interior work demand dropped, 70%. Some of the interior trades dropped 80 to 90% where it was discretionary. And, you have a lot of business owners where cash management, it's going job to job, month to month, week to week. In some instances, many of them got caught out with pre-purchasing materials for then jobs that then couldn't go forward with, and got caught in a bit of a cash flow challenge there, right? Understandably so, right? Like many businesses ended up in that situation. And I think we were really trying to make sure that those that could keep working and could keep working safely had all the information to do that. But then we also, amongst our peer set in the space, all the platforms that do similar, complementary things, let's say, because there's, quite a different few ways to do it. But we looked at their advertising during this period, and many of the other brands that you would know out there pulled right back. And we kept going, like we kept investing into the bringing in the work that was still available, because we knew that about half of our businesses were still able to work and wanted to continue to work. And we felt a responsibility to them to make sure that there was what work was available, what little of it was out there was on our platform, that they could come in and find it and support their families and support their businesses during that time.
I think it was, in some ways, I mean, it's absolutely booming now, isn't it? I think I read something that you'd said the other day that it's up 13%. And that's certainly what we're seeing as well. It is that, the industry is just booming. But in the early days, that you're right, it was just such a minefield of so much information and so much changing on a daily basis. And how do I interpret this in a way that is meaningful for me and do the right thing with that information? So it sounds like you were very proactive.
I mean, we care a lot about our customers. We really want to keep them successful. And it was a hard period for everybody. And I think, as you're saying now there's a huge boom, and we've got more work on our platform than can possibly be consumed. And then comes back to the problem of not having enough trades in this country, and of the trades that we do have, really equipping them so that they can go after this big opportunity that exists right now. I mean, this is like boom time, gold rush.
Absolutely.
Go out, make your mark. This is it. Go for it. If you're going to go for it, this is exactly the moment where, to do that.
It's interesting because you refer to the values of the company quite a lot. And that is something that we offer to our bigger clients, a service where we help them articulate what their values are and what's important to them. How would you explain how having a set of values in place can actually help a company during challenging times?
Oh yeah, no, I think it's really important. For us, we have, we outlined our values. Actually, it was one of the first things I did when I took on the CEO role. We'd had a project values are always seen as one of these projects that like you should do, but then you always delay it because something more important comes up, and then you never do it, and it feels fluffy and it feels whatever. And actually we said, no, yes, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Yes, we're going through a CEO transition, but actually the most important thing we can do right now as a company is articulate our values. Because by having the values down on paper, and if they're really authentic to you as a business, so that's really important. They have to really be true to you as a company and how you want to run. And they can be really simple, like, I always think about like my grandpa's like little sayings, his like life ethos is like every time I left, it was like, try and be nice now, little girl. It was like this sort of like, be nice, do unto others as, you would have done unto yourself, the golden rule. Or simple things like, like I do business with a handshake, but I put it in writing to show that I really mean it, and so it's like these like simple mantras of like, operate with integrity, but, make sure that you're doing the due diligence. And so I feel like even though my grandpa's business, I'm sure didn't have the values articulated, he was leading with the values every single day. And so I think even in small companies, it's the norms by which you operate. But coming back to why it's important in challenging times, and particularly as your business gets bigger, is, we needed to move really fast. We needed to decentralize our decisions. And by having the values clearly outlined, it meant that people knew very quickly if something was what we should do or shouldn't do. So customer has an annual contract with us, calls in, stick with COVID, can't work. Okay. Empathize and be open is one of our values. Okay. And enable success is another value. So, okay, let's empathize. Oh my goodness, you have COVID. Horrible. Hope you're safe. Health and safety is the most important thing. And then, enable success is we want this customer to be a customer with us for the long run. So, okay, in those instances, we would give them a break on their contract, which, under normal circumstances, we wouldn't have necessarily done. But because our values were, we would, to be fair, for a health related injury, if somebody's injured and can't work, of course, that is an exception for us. But, those sorts of things is just put yourself in your customer's shoes and then do the right thing by your values. And typically it works out in the long run.
That's also about empowering people on the front line as well to make the decisions that they think are right.
Exactly.
Which
another value of ours.
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot of ease.
I think it's how you make them, live and breathe, isn't it? And I've worked for organizations where they've got them and they're on the wall, but it's really a tick box exercise versus a company like Starbucks that I work for. That's why I joined the organization. And oh my God, did that organization live and breathe them on a daily basis? You knew.
Yeah.
And
exactly. And that's the thing, the employees know if you're living your values on a daily basis. And they should guard those. So when something happens that isn't in line with those values, we need to proactively protect the space and keep the space, in line with those values.
Yeah. Interesting. So another thing I wanted to talk to you about, Adrienne, is around the online customer experience as well as the offline customer experience. What would be your advice to trades when thinking about these two areas?
Yeah. A lot of our customers will say, that they've built up great businesses over the years through word of mouth and had this, physical in-person presence in the places that they work. And, I think that works really well, right? Like if you can build up your loyal customer base, retaining customers and going back to them for work time and time again, is what every company tries to do, is have a base of loyal customers that keep coming back and they keep providing good service. But if you think about the online space, it's really about two things. One, getting yourself found. So making yourself visible in an online world in whatever way you're going to do that. So some customers will do that through a website. Some customers will do that through a profile on a platform like ours or many other sites that are out there. Some people will do that through social media and having a social media presence. But I think first and foremost, you need to be able to be found. So if somebody types in your name and is looking for you, they can find you. What I would say, having previously worked with small and medium businesses to build websites are an amazing tool. The challenge comes in getting them to really be found in multiple types of search terms. So that can take quite a long time to build up that kind of authority within a network like Google or whatever other search platforms are out there. And yes, you might rank on your company name, but when someone is looking for a plumber in Leeds, does your website rank at the top or does somebody else rank at the top of that search term? And if you're a plumber in Leeds and you want to get that work, You want to think about, how do I place myself in the businesses or the online properties that are coming up top of that search term? Because it's all well and good if they already know your business, but if they already know your business, they're likely going to come to you already. So you want to go to people that don't already know your business. So think about how they would be looking for a company like yours, and then get yourself into those places where they're trying to get those customers in. So point one is make sure you can get found. And point two is make sure that you get your reputation out there. So they don't just want to know the name of your business and what your business does. They want to know what customers think about you and what your experience has been like. So what are the photos of your work looking like? How many jobs have you done? Have you done work for somebody that I might know? So social media, again, can be a great tool, but making sure that you have authentic ratings and reviews and, good pictures of your work, high quality photos. If it's work that's photographable, sometimes it's not so pretty, some of the stuff that trades businesses do. So it's not necessarily like the most photogenic stuff, although you'd be surprised what's happening on TikTok these days. There's like these crazy TikTok videos of people like pouring cement or doing like plastering, and they're quite mesmerizing. So I think it's really cool how trades are innovating and making things that previously had seemed, kind of boring or not that hip, actually really, really cool now. And so I think, that's been a fun platform to see what people are doing, but you really want those authentic reviews visible of your work. And that doesn't mean all 5-star reviews necessarily, right? Because a lot of people mistrust reviews that aren't authentic and don't have some negative ratings against them. Think about it. If you go onto a platform like Amazon and go to buy something and it's all 5-star, 2-word things, you think, this is a fake business that just got set up on here. And who knows if my product that I'm ordering is ever going to arrive. Whereas if you go in and they've got, loads of 5 stars and 4 stars, I always flick to the 1 stars when I'm shopping and then screen the 1 stars. And if the 1 stars either seem like, consumers that were just overly picky or whatever, or had a specific problem, or it's something where they've demonstrated good customer service to say, hey, I'm terribly sorry that product didn't arrive on time. Let me now send you a replacement, or that sort of demonstrating of that customer service when things do go wrong, genuinely go wrong, just actually wins you more customers than loads and loads of 5-star reviews that don't necessarily seem 100% authentic.
Yeah. We were actually, it's just reminded me when I worked for Pizza Hut, it's a bit corny, but we were told, a complaint is a gift because at least you know about it. And that customer is giving you an opportunity to actually respond, and you could actually turn them into the most loyal of customers if you approach it in the right way. So, and all the stats we know, don't we, around how many people we tell if we're not happy. But, it's a very English thing as well. We tell everybody else, but we don't always tell the people that need to know.
But that's a good point. A lot of businesses, forget to go back and to say, hey, how did it go? I mean, in our process, that happens. We support trades businesses to get that feedback from their customers, and, to then make that feedback visible. But, we do get that like, oh no, I just got a 1-star rating. Whoopsie, what do I do? And we say, well, look, calm, play it cool. Do you think you did a good job? Okay, maybe and you do the coaching around the customer service, but actually, as your point, it's a gift. It's an opportunity, actually. And
so it sounds as though you do have quite a lot of interaction with your customers, because I guess with the service that you're providing, there is a danger, I'm guessing, that people might just come to the site, sign up, but not actually ever interact with you.
No, we do interact with our customers either through our, in our sign up process. It's very much about, getting to know the company and getting to know what they're looking for. So, it's like, well, how much work are you looking for? What are your plans for the business? Are you just looking at this for, filling in the odd job here between the big projects? Or are you looking at this as an avenue to grow your business or to test a new area or type of work? So all of that stuff happens through a lot of our sign-up conversations with our team. And then, it depends on kind of what size business you are with us in terms of kind of what amount of work you're wanting to go after. But we have a premier accounts team that will, manage personally accounts that are, have certain needs as they get with a bigger scale with us. And they'll really have those consultative conversations every single month. But other ones, we definitely handle that as well through our customer success team. So we have a lot of interaction.
Fabulous.
Which we like,
And I read recently that you were very supportive of the Green Homes grants. I'm aware that they're no longer, unfortunately. And we know that being more eco-friendly is an area that's becoming more and more of interest to the general consumer. What would be your advice to owners of trade businesses on the kinds of things that they should be thinking about and doing in light of this?
Sure. The Green Home Grant, it's a shame it didn't really get off the ground properly. And a lot of that was, we were trying to talk to the government to say, hey guys, you need to make it easier for businesses to sign up. I understand that they wanted it to not have loopholes for, there were historical reasons why they wanted to make it quite restrictive. But we said, guys, there's so much demand for this work. If you don't make it easier for trades businesses to then come and deliver the work, it's never going to get done, and you're not going to be successful ultimately with what we're all wanting to achieve, which is a better environment. But we do a lot of surveys. So we have it's called the Rated People Home Improvement Trends Report, which is our annual report where we look at trends. And we know through that research that we do every single year that nearly 60% of consumers want to be more eco-friendly. We see a huge increase in the amount of demand for green type jobs. So particularly we've seen surge in insulation jobs, live roofs, so heating and cooling for living roofs. I thought that was a bit, I was like, well, really, I didn't realize that would take off quite so much. Okay. Glazing, things like that. We see quite a lot, even downsizing boilers. So getting the right size boiler for your property. So you're using, the right equipment to not waste energy, or to have the most efficient boiler that is available in the market and save money. But we also know, so what I would recommend for trades businesses is getting trained up in green type skills, because this is only going to be an area that keeps growing. There are companies out there like Access Training that can help you to upskill, but there's a lot of people out there that can help people to upskill in these particular types of trades, which I'd really recommend. But what was also interesting is that even for non-green jobs, if you're a trades business that has green credentials, 30% of homeowners, actually 35% of homeowners said that they are more likely to hire a trades business that has some sort of green credentialing. So it can help you if you can show that green credential to do even non-eco type jobs. So there's a win-win there to get upskilled to do this work, but then it's a very positive signal to homeowners that think, wow, this is a business that really cares. Therefore, they'll care for my home as well, even if it's not to do one of these eco type jobs in that instance. And then maybe they'll get you back to do the eco job too.
Yeah. All comes back to the brand, doesn't it? And your brand positioning and what you stand for and what's important. And very interesting. 35%. And that's only going to go in one way. Again, that could be 50% in a few years' time, maybe more.
Yeah, I think it will be. Yeah, it's going to go fast, because it's, Alison, if you're not eco-credentialed in some way, you're going to look really out of step, know. And I think it's important, to kind of try to get ahead of or on this trend, let's say, as much as possible as a business.
Yeah, ride the wave, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were talking earlier about the fact that the industry is booming at the moment. What would be your top tips to businesses so that they, I guess, make the most of the opportunity and strengthen the customer experience and their business in the process of doing so?
Yeah, I'm really hoping to see what I would like to do, at least, or what I wish for our businesses, is for them to make the most of this wave of work. It's very unlikely that this is a once in a generation wave. And, hopefully we don't get a pandemic more than, every 100 years, I think we're averaging right now. So hopefully it's a long time until something else like this happens again. So look, this is a wave that will not come around again in people's careers. This is the moment to go after what you want to achieve and really lay the foundation for your company. So as you say, the customer service really has to come first, but then it's about how do you then get the confidence to really go after taking on more of the work that is out there and growing your business if that's part of your ambition. And I think, what I would like to see as business owners being able to put less of their time on, finding work or managing the admin side of things and more time into training up young people to cover some of the jobs, creating teams where you've got your more trained employees or your longer tenured employees at the top of the team, and then training up junior people to come in and help and then grow into more seasoned people that can then run projects on their own. But it's really about, how do we sort of give these businesses the confidence to go after that recruitment side or upskilling side, either through an apprenticeship or, in our case, I think what we can really contribute to that is, greater confidence that, if you want more of a particular type of thing in a particular area, you can see exactly how much is out there, and we can help you to think through how do I plan then to kind of get the confidence to hire in that next person or take on an apprentice in this area. So
you've raised a really valid point there, because it's about recruitment. And I think there's a lot of work to do there around employer branding and attracting, making your company as attractive as possible to then attract the best people and to show that it is a really valid career option. But also, it just reminded me again of my sort of career. I've been fortunate enough to work for companies that really invested in your development. And I always used to say to my managers, it's always, I think, better to have somebody coming through internally, because what they lack for in experience, they make up for in loyalty. And by, almost having that buddy mentoring system in place and to nurture people and develop them, it's just the best way, I think, of growing a business. So it's not the only way, but it's certainly very, very powerful. So really fascinating discussion, Adrienne. Thank you very much. Where can listeners go to find out more?
So we have apps and websites. So probably the easiest place is to go to ratedpeople.com/tradesmen to get access specifically to the trade side information on our platform. That's the top place to go.
And thank you for mentioning that particular URL, because ratedpeople.com/tradesmen. Rated People of
internally we'll say tradespeople, by the way, but yes. For SEO purposes, tradesmen sadly still outranked. Okay. That's why. So internally we'll say tradespeople or trades businesses, but sadly that's the URL. So
I wanted to thank you for being very generous in offering a special offer to the listeners of the podcast show, and anybody that would like to find out more and perhaps try Rated People if you're not already a customer, all you need to do is go to ratedpeople.com/tradesmen, click on Inquire Now, and that will take you through to a page to find out more information. And once you're then in a position to chat to one of the team, quote the code GROW, that's GROW 50, 50, so that's GROW 50, just quote that, and you'll get £50 worth of free credit to spend on the platform until the end of September. And that's obviously September 2021, in case people are listening to it after that date. But thank you so much, Adrienne. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today, and thank you for giving up your time.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for everything that you're doing for the trade sector. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I really hope you have enjoyed today's podcast. I would love to invite you to join our Trades and Builders Business Growth Group on Facebook, where I regularly share lots of information to help you create a more successful trades business. You can also order a copy of my book, Build and Grow, which is available on Amazon.